গামোচাৰে সম্বৰ্ধনা জনাবৰ কাৰণে মই অনুৰোধ জনাইছোঁ। তাৰপিছত এতিয়া আমাৰ ছাৰে তোমালোকে যিখিনি কথা ক'ব লাগে সেইখিনি ছাৰে ক'ব, গতিকে ছাৰক মই
So how did you manage to prepare for IELTS examination while working? Like how many hours did you devote while working?
I was working in a software company, so I used to leave, home at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's about a 1.5 hours journey. So till about 8:30 we used to travel. I reach office at 8:30, and I have work till about 6:37. So by the time I come back home, it is like 9 or probably 8:30. So what I do is that you are already tired, right? You cannot read. So I immediately sleep, have my dinner and sleep at 8:45, 9. And I wake up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. So from morning at 3 o'clock till about 6 o'clock is my 3 hours to study. And that's the only time I have. And while work, since ours was a software job, we are not supposed to be at the job always. We get 2-3 hours off at office. So I use it 1 hour time at office to do some online study also. So roughly about 3-4 hours I used to study from November, December. I think somewhere in February I decided I cannot continue like this, I need more time. So that's where in February I took leave without pay, and I started spending. We had about 4 months before the exam, so that's when I started spending more than 10 hours at home. And after prelims I resigned, and I started giving full time for mains. For mains I prepared full time, and after mains immediately I joined back in another company. For interview you don't need to do full time, you can work and do, because how much ever preparation you do, what is your personality you have developed in 25 years of living on the planet will come out of the interview. So hence, if a person decides that he or she can change within 2 or 3 months time and present a different picture to the interview board, that is just over ambitiousness. So whatever you are will come out. But of course it's not like you should not prepare for the interview, because generally they ask a lot of things based on your CV. So biodata. So you have to read your biodata word by word and start preparing for that. There might be a lot of questions related to that. So fine. So next question.
Sir, you say that you studied for 10 years. Sir, how you maintain your consistency in your studies?
Making for?
Consistency.
For what?
For your studies, sir. 10 hours every day, 15 hours every day, sir. How you give?
So you spend 3 hours, 3.5 hours in the morning. So you spend 3 hours in the afternoon, 3 hours in the evening. So you can't do 10 hours continuously. So that's why I said you strategize. Suppose you start at 7 a.m. in the morning. Early mornings are the best to study, in my opinion. So you start at 5 a.m. in the morning, if you can. Go from 5 a.m. to about 8 a.m. Have a cup of tea, have some breakfast at 8, take a small walk, come back at around 9, start again, read till about 10:30, take again a half an hour break, and then if you think it's too much, stop it, take a nap or go to play or something, and come back at 2 o'clock again, start studying. I'm sure you can make 10 hours in a day. You have 24 hours in a day and you are doing full time. So you need to pick up only 10 hours now. And as you go closer to the examinations, you need to pick up only 15 hours. So 15 hours of study, 8 hours of sleep will still give you only 23 hours. You still have 1 hour. You can use that for Netflix.
Sir, what keep you motivated during this journey?
What keeps me motivated during this journey is to stand on my own feet, to do something which is unique. I just don't want to become an employee in any company. Everybody becomes an employee. So do you want to become an employee in your company, work in a company for 35 years without any powers? Whether you want to, do that job, or you want to become a decision maker, whether you want to run your own company. If any of you thinks that IAS is not a good job, you want to start a company, nothing stops you from doing that. Is also a good job. But then what motivated me was, I wanted to do something for the country, obviously, not to boast of it, but I wanted to do something for the country and see if I can get the service. So that was the one which kept me motivated.
So, sir, what does the day-to-day life of an IS officer look like?
Day to day, you're heading some institution always in Indian Administrative Service. You're always posted to departments, so you have to handle the entire projects and schemes of the department. So it's like a very busy life and a very hectic life of an IS officer. But at the same time, IS officers are decision makers. So if you decide that you will not do any work, you will just remain and do nothing and keep pushing files, then also nothing will happen to you. You will only get a bad name.
Interaction with public is required each and every day.
Yeah, as long as you are in field postings, so interaction with public will be there. So as you move towards the secretariat or policy level positions, you may not interact too much with public, but then you will be interacting with so many stakeholders.
So is it good to keep a plan B because everybody prepares for their 100% potential, right? So if something doesn't work, then at the age of 25 and till clearing of the examination.
Yes, I would strongly urge you to have plan B. See, since the probability of success is only 0.04% on merit, or probably 0.5% or 0.1%, even with reservation, assuming that all 1000 get cleared. So 1000 divided by 5 lakh is how much? It's just very less, isn't it? So 0.1% or something. 50,000 is 10, 5,000 is 1%, 0.2%. So even with reservation, it's only 0.2%. So you should always be ready for plan B in life. Now I was very clear, if I don't clear in first attempt, I will apply one more time. And if I don't clear on that, I will not apply. I know many of my friends who have attempted for 5 times, 7 times, 10 times, because some categories they can apply till the age of 35. And they have just got frustrated in life. They've achieved nothing in life. So I would say that you should not take the life head on, but accept what is coming your way. So this is all personality. Indian Administrative Service is personality. Even preparing for Indian Administrative Service is about personality. So if you can, be happy with that. If you cannot, you should be happy with that also. So you should be ready to accept positive and negative. Both something which you should be active about. So you should have a plan B in life, and you should be ready to latch on to plan B the moment plan A doesn't work. Because it's not that plan A will not work, but because we all work in mathematics, there is a possibility that plan A may not work. Right? So it's only 0.2% chance that plan A will work. So you have to be having a plan B. But all your efforts will be towards plan A. Your mind, however, should be capable enough of accepting a plan A sometime in the future. So God forbid, all of you will succeed in plan A, and you should work towards that.
Should I go for master degree first or directly prepare full-time preparation for the civil service?
It depends on your financial position. So, you understand Asmis? If you can afford, you can go for master degree also, or you can directly go to civil services. That's your financial position and your ability to take it further. Civil service is not asking for master degree. They are only asking for basic degree. So basic degree only apply kori ko pare. But jodi apni master degree kora ichha ase. So the service enables you to achieve master degree after you join service. After you join the service, suppose you decide I want to do master degree. So after completing 7 years of service, you can apply for master degree. I have just come back from study leave. So I did my masters in London and I came back, and the government sponsors you. So but you have to complete 7 years in some places. In some states you have to complete 9 years.
So are there any defined courses for studies in abroad?
Yeah, there are different courses. It has to be related to public service.
So have you faced any pressure from the politicians and all like
Every day.
So how do you handle
Huh?
So how do you handle coming to a middle path that both ways it's a win-win situation then.
So see, when an MLA calls you or a minister calls you, you should not feel bad. Because who are our MLAs? Our MLAs are our own people, right? One among you decides that I want to go to civil service. One among you decides that I want to become a minister. One among you decides that I want to become an MLA. So you go and contest and you become MLA. Are you coming to become MLA or minister just because you want to become MLA because you like it? No. Every MLA has some kind of a public interest. Now, how much of public interest every MLA has or every officer has, that is subject to debate. But however, there is a public interest in the position called MLA. So when an MLA is calling, you should not look at from why he is calling Tarki interest as a, but you should look at it from perspective as that he is a public representative. And he or she is calling you because there is a public work. So if as per rules, as per procedures, or maybe even if it is not in the rules and procedures, if the work is in public interest and you have the powers within your domain to do it, you can do it. If it cannot be done, you just have to explain it cannot be done.
So, what if plan B, as you said, we need a plan B, but what if this plan B will hinder our plan A?
Plan B doesn't hinder. What is your qualification?
Engineering.
BTech in what?
Computer science and engineering.
So BTech in computer science and engineering. When did you complete?
14.
Have you had some work experience? So how many years?
Like after I graduated, I have been working. Last year, I resigned.
Where did you work?
It was an administrative job
Where?
in university.
Which university?
Oberlin University.
Okay. So how many years work experience you have?
4.
So fine. So that means your plan B is to continue your administrative job somewhere. Or you want to go back to engineering, that is another plan B. So getting a job is not very difficult.
But what if we can't give our effort thinking of the plan B?
You should not think about plan B. That's why I'm saying this is where the mind is very important. You should not think about plan B, you should only think about plan A. But you should have the mental ability to accept plan B if plan A does not succeed. Okay? Always remember that in life there is something called positive, there is something called negative. If you don't know what is negative and you only focus on positive things, then you will never be able to decide whether a particular thing is positive or negative when the event actually happens. So you should learn from mistakes. And you should make a mistake, only then you will learn. So if you don't never make a mistake, you play very, very safe, you will never be able to decide that. So plan B is essential, but it is not the main plan. Your first plan is only on civil service.
So going with the mindset of just having one service as your aim, for example IPS or an IS, and not choosing IFS or not choosing IS, does it make the aim very, very narrow?
You can decide what you want, like IS, IPS, foreign service, audit and account service, revenue service, trade service, railway account service. There are at least 12 to 14 services which are very, very good. Very, very good. There's also a Indian Defence Account Service. I have batchmates, friends, relatives in all services. And they are all doing phenomenal job. So when eventually you all go to the academy for training, you will have friends from all services. It is, a lot of people have this ego that IAS is the best, IPS is the best, foreign service is the best, but I don't think so. Every service contributes uniquely to the country in a unique manner. Without revenue services today, entire tax administration will collapse. Without auditing, without the audits and account services, there is nobody who can be held accountable. Without the custom services, no airports will be able to function. Without the railway service, the entire greatest transportation system in the country is railways. People can't move. Without defense account service, the entire defense machinery cannot be held accountable to public. It's all public money, right? Without trade service, there cannot be international trade between India and other organizations in World Trade Organization or any other organization. Without Indian administrative service, our districts cannot be governed. Without IPS, your districts cannot be supervised in terms of law and order. Without foreign service, you cannot have diplomatic ties. Every service is valuable. Every service is got its own unique contribution to the country and unique commitment to the constitution of the country. So I would say that have a goal for IAS, IPS and foreign service if that is your goal. But nothing stops you from taking any of the remaining 12 services. Out of the 25 odd services or many services these days, I think there are at least 15 to 20 services which can give you immense job satisfaction. Immense. Any more questions?
Sir, in the IAS, when a candidate stated as an IAS, normally he is allotted to some state. So, are there some posts reserved under center also where the IAS candidate joins?
Yeah, so when an IAS officer joins the service, see in India there are 3 levels of services, right? Like local government service like municipal administration and panchayats, then the state level service, then there is the central government service. IAS is not in any of these 3 categories, please remember. IAS is an all India service. You are neither appointed by central government, nor appointed by state government, nor appointed by local government. You are appointed by the constitution, right? And hence your appointment orders will be signed by President of India. There are only 4 all India services in India: IAS, IPS, not foreign, forest service, and there is one more, Indian Judicial Service. But we never have started appointments to the judicial service. So there is probably a need to start appointments to the judicial service, many people say, but whether they are going to start or not, we don't know. But as of now, we have 3 services are functional. So there are many positions which are reserved where only IAS officers can be posted, and that's how the government is doing it.
So, but it's compulsory that the selected candidate has to serve any state or?
Yes, like I am in Assam cadre. There are 24 cadres in the entire country. So Assam and Meghalaya from one cadre. So I have to serve minimum 9 years in one state. After which I am allowed to go on deputation to another location for 10 years maximum. But that's the maximum. I have to come back to my state and serve for another 10 years at least before going out.
Sir, in Indian Forest Service, the preliminary that in normal UPSC CSC.
Let's take 2 more questions, okay?
The
One, and after that the final one. Keep going.
In normal UPSC prelims, the Forest Service prelims cutoff goes higher. So can we prepare that both the exam equally because the optional subjects are different?
I think you can. Nothing stops you.
Say, is it difficult than this one IAS?
See, no. All government services, the preliminary is somewhat similar. Even I would urge you that all of you could even try for CDS, Combined Defense Services also.
Right.
You can try for engineers, can probably look for Indian Engineering Service. That's an amazing service, not part of UPSC. UPSC conducts the exam, not part of civil services. Indian Engineering Service exam. So there is Indian Telecom Service also in UPSC, among the same. Many people say telecom service to bhag nahi, but I'll tell you, if Indian telecom service is not there, all our networks will not function. And believe me or not, in public-private partnership, our economy has boomed truly in only one service, one segment, and it is not roads or anything, it is telecom. And Indian telecom service has a very, very valuable contribution to the country. And it's important that we recognize, but it doesn't come out in the open in the media or any in the public circles. But every service contributes uniquely. For a service also you can prepare. You should, if you can afford within your bandwidth, write as many examinations as possible. But don't dilute yourself too much. Your focus is only plan A. You define what is your plan A. So one final question and then I think we should close. Any final questions? No final questions?
Sir,
Okay. Yeah, you start. He has already asked.
Sir, you are saying that we have to choose a cadre, and for that we have to give a service or minimum of a certain is there any option that also that we an aspirant who is selected finally can select can work straight under the central government?
No, you can't. You have to get posted to a state. An Indian Administrative Service works on the principle of national integration. 66% of the candidates selected will not be allotted their home states. It is the spirit of the service. I cannot ask for to be posted in my home state in Karnataka or Tamil Nadu. I have to be serving outside. Because if I am staying in Assam, this Indian Administrative Service does not want. So 66% of officers should not be posted within their home state. But 33% will be posted within their home state, because if I am an outsider, like I am to Assam, there is a possibility that I don't understand the cultural spirit of Assam. And I might behave in a way which is not acceptable to the local people. So hence, to ensure that the cultural spirit is also respected and local people draw inspiration from their own people also, 33% is reserved for that. So if you make it within that top 200, that is another thing, that please be sure that only about 33% of you will get posted to your home states. Rest of you will be serving in other states only. Okay? Done? Okay, thank you.